Point Park Wrestling opens its inaugural season. Special guests join us today to talk Point Park cross country, and the MLB season comes to a shocking end. It's time to come on down to Pioneer Sideline. Good evening and welcome to Pioneer Sideline. I'm your host, Layla Shervon, back for another week of sports news. We have all Point Park and national news for you, as well as some very special guests joining us. To start, Edmi Dallas reports on Point Park Wrestling. First, ever meet Edmi?
You got that right, Layla. This past Saturday marked a historic moment for Point Park with its first ever participation in the collegiate wrestling scene. Women's wrestling started the 2025 season at the 2025 Tiffin Open in Tiffin, Ohio. Out of the 8 Pioneers that competed, Peyton Moyer was a standout with her performance. Freshman Moyer started with a win in the second round after a bye in the first. Moyer went on to win the quarterfinal before she fell in the semifinals and consolations. Moyer placed 6th, scoring the team 11 points. Next up for women's wrestling is a 2-day competition at Adrian College in Adrian, Michigan on Saturday, November 8th and Sunday, November 9th. Now on to the men, where they took their start at the Mount Union Invitational in Alliance, Ohio. The Pioneers had 2 wrestlers place, Liam Hine and Aiden Burford. Hine led the Pioneers with a 5th place finish, which earned the team 16 points. Hine received a bye for the first round. He left the second round with a 1 win under his belt, but lost his stride in the quarterfinal after a sudden victory from Seton Hill. Hine won rounds 4 and 5 and fell in the consolation semifinal, leading to his 4-2 performance. Burford followed Hine with his place in 7th, which scored the team 9 points. Burford decided to take a loss in the first round and received a bye in the consolation first. He earned 3 straight wins by medical forfeit, major decisions, and decision. Burford dropped his next consolation, leaving him with a record of 4-2 in the Invitational. Moving forward, men's wrestling will travel to Cleveland, Ohio for the Ohio Intercollegiate Open on Sunday, November 9th. Good luck, Pioneers. Back to you at the desk, Layla.
Moving forward, Point Park women's basketball finished its preseason with an exhibition matchup versus nationally ranked University of Maryland. Sideline Matt Palangi and Hayden Mahoney give the details on the team's preparation before their fight against the Terrapins.
Hoop season is back in full swing as the Point Park women's basketball team travels to Maryland to play versus the University of Maryland Terrapins. Before traveling 4 hours, this team's preparation and practice was on full display. The team aimed to work on plays and consistent shot making. The primary focus on running plays was team chemistry, as many new faces have arrived to wear a Pioneers jersey this season. Head coach Dave Scarborough spoke about his excitement and anticipation for these new arrivals in an interview.
The mix of new and young players we have this year on our roster is exciting and scary at the same time. One, there's a lot of them. But they're in this together. At least they don't have like we don't have 1 or 2 new or young players where it's just them versus the world, they feel like. So it's good for myself and our staff to get them ready and locked in for how we do stuff with them. But we do have a lot of talent we're excited about. Trying to put them in the right pieces. It's going to be it's really a test tomorrow at Maryland, but we're excited for our first game, which is what we prepare for every day against Shippensburg.
Coach Scarborough also mentioned off camera that he believes he has multiple freshmen on this team that can win the Mountain East Conference Rookie of the Year award. The University of Maryland, however, was ranked 10th overall in the preseason poll, so Point Park will have a tough matchup. This will be an exhibition game for the Pioneers, no negative or positive effect on the record. Senior guard Alexis Giles spoke about what the team can learn when facing up against a tough Division I opponent.
Well, what we can learn from competing against a Division I opponent is definitely just going out there and competing. Doesn't matter who they are. Yes, they're a higher level than us, but it's really about competing and just going out there and playing. And there's really no pressure on us, so we just go out there and kind of have fun.
Point Park lost this matchup with a final score of 120-35. With this just being an exhibition matchup, it will not affect the team's record and they will use it as a full learning experience. After the break, we welcome two very special guests. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now I'm joined by men's and women's cross-country top placers in the MEC tournament. Please join me in welcoming Cassandra O'Connor and Eli Bechtel. First, I want to say thank you guys for coming on the show, and I just want to ask you about how you felt in the moment of when you crossed the finish line at the championship game.
You go first.
It was pretty interesting because, you know, I personally didn't do as well as I wanted to, but it was also kind of at the same time, it was nice to also finish the season because last year I didn't finish the season. So it was kind of a mix of emotions for me.
I was kind of shocked because I did end up winning. I was not expecting that going in. It was definitely a shocker. So I was honestly at that point, you're just happy with whatever place you get because you're just so ready to be done because it's such a hard course that any place would have been such an accomplishment to get.
And speaking of the course, I heard that it's a lot of vertical challenges you guys have on that course. How did you prepare for that?
Yeah, we did a few workouts beforehand, you know, trying to prepare us for the big hills that were on the course, but you know, it's kind of hard to prepare for the hills like that because it's still very difficult, but I think we came in pretty prepared.
Yeah, we definitely simulated a lot of hill sprints and just trying to get as most used to the course as we could without being there. We did do like a meet the night before, we do like a preview, so we just run a little bit around the course, but just getting a little bit used to that and knowing what you're coming into the day of kind of helps because then you can kind of mentally prepare for the course and kind of run it through your head.
And with your, not just the championship game in this course, but the rest of the season, how do you guys prepare for your meets and personally, not with your team, but how do you guys personally prepare and what do you guys do?
I listen to a specific playlist right before I race. It's the same one, you know, on my Spotify, and it kind of gets me in the mindset before the race, you know, kind of lock in.
I don't really have a kind of set routine. I just kind of go with the flow. I try to be as relaxed as possible.
Just wing it?
Yeah, I wing every race. So.
Well, I mean, if you go in too prepared, then, you know, you don't know what's going to come out of it. But you obviously have been going crazy, placed over one overall, and first team all conference. Do you have any goals set for yourself for the rest of your time at Point Park?
Nope, not really. I'm just trying to run the best I can, get better every single race, and learn something. It's not always about time or place. It's sometimes about just what you can take out of the race personally and what you can grow as an athlete, a hard worker, just general human characteristics that can build you up that you can take away from the race.
And for you, you have been leading the men, and you've led them of the first finisher at Lock Haven, West Liberty, and CMU, and you also had a personal best 8K time at CMU. What goals have you had set for yourself for the rest of your time here, or just this year?
Yeah, so I had a rough start to my college career last year. I didn't really run. I got injured, so it was nice, first of all, to finish the season and put down some nice times. But I definitely have some goals. I would obviously like to break the 25-minute barrier. I think that's a pretty big one. I was pretty close to it this year, and I think that'd be a big goal for me next year. And also, as far as conference goes, I would like to, maybe make the all-conference second team. I think that'd be a nice goal for me. I was kind of hoping to, hit that goal this year. Didn't quite do it, but I got plenty of time.
And being a transfer, how was the team chemistry coming in, and how did it feel just to be in a complete new team, not a new city? You guys are both from Pittsburgh, so how was it?
No, it was nice, honestly, because my team last year, it was a different culture altogether. It was a lot more competitive. I felt like I was being pitted against my teammates, and it's not at all like that here. I feel like I'm a lot more friendly with my teammates. Friendly competition, but not trying to beat each other every single time. I really enjoy the team atmosphere here.
And for you, the team chemistry, how do you feel?
Yeah, I think we all just kind of uplift each other. We try to work together. No one on your team is against you. We're all for you. So everyone wants to see everyone thrive and do great. So I feel like when people do get those accomplishments, it's no animosity against each other. It's just we like to support each other and make sure that everyone feels happy and that everyone's on the same page on the team.
And does that help you become a better athlete?
I think so, yeah.
Both of you?
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. And like I said, you guys are both from Pittsburgh. How does it feel to be accomplishing these goals right in the city that you guys are from?
Oh, it's awesome. I love having my family, being able to come out. I know that was a big thing I missed last year is, going to meets, so far different places around the country. Being home and going to meets are 15 minutes from my house, and having my whole family show up. It's really nice, and the support's very well. It helps me in the race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree. Sometimes my parents and brother, they always come and try to support me whenever they can. And sometimes my dogs even come because the races are outside and cross country. So they like the course just as much as we do. So they like it and they come and support as well. So having your family and your friends come is just nice.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming today and talking to me. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your time here at Point Park on the cross country team. Now that's all for Point Park sports, but what's happening in the week ahead? We have plenty of home play this week as both men's and women's soccer take on a non-conference opponent in Salem University on Wednesday, November 4th. Then volleyball faces Wheeling in the Student Center on Friday at 7 p.m. And men and women's wrestling compete in their second meet of the year in Ohio and Michigan. Tune in for more Pioneer updates right here next week, and as always, go Pioneers. Now, let's check in with Robert Fornatero reporting on a special event hosted by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
At the Steelers practice facility, the annual Primetime with the Steelers event gave service members and their families a chance to take the field and feel part of the team. Behind me, veterans and their families are getting a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, meeting and participating in activities with Steelers legends, all while interacting and connecting with others who've served. One half of the field was lined with punt drills run by Corliss Waitman, a current Steelers punter. On the other side, Charlie Batch, a two-time Super Bowl winning quarterback for the Steelers, worked with veterans on quick passes and spirals. The event, hosted in partnership with VetTix, a veteran ticket organization, gave service members and their families a chance to step onto the same turf their favorite players call home.
For me, the interaction, anytime you get a group of vets together and in an environment like this, it's good for us, to be able to spend some time together. So for me, that's been the best part.
For many of the veterans and their families, this was their first time being chosen through VetTix, and they said it was a nice reminder of the camaraderie they've missed since leaving the military.
And they've offered a couple of tickets sometimes, but this was the first thing I actually got chosen for submitting coins for it, yeah.
While veterans took the field, the Steelers staff worked behind the scenes coordinating drills, setting up dinner, and keeping the night running smoothly.
I think it's a really special event because it offers an opportunity for some folks to just kind of see the Steelers and the operations in a different light. It's a little bit more of a behind-the-scenes look that not everybody gets access to.
Out on the turf, former quarterback Charlie Batch was right back where fans love to see him, coaching, cracking jokes, and throwing passes for the first time in nearly 10 years.
Well, anytime that you're giving back to the community, and you have Steeler fans that are all over the country, and when they have a chance to really come into town, be a part of the game, and then there's other festivities that they're a part of, you want to make that experience as joyful as possible, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
As the event wrapped up, veterans lined up for autographs and photos before heading inside for dinner and a private tour of the Steelers' locker room and weight room. And while the night was meant to honor veterans, it was hard not to notice the smiles from kids.
It's very exciting and enthusiastic being here and actually getting to meet the players.
When the field finally cleared, what stayed behind was a connection between the veterans, families, and the people who helped make this happen.
Yeah, I think it's a testament to the Rooney family, and they're committed to the community and committed to the veterans and families. So,
for these veterans tonight, it was about more than just autographs, but feeling like part of the team. And here at the Steelers facility, it is like that both on and off the field, and you can feel it. Reporting from the UPMC Rooney Sports Complex, I'm Robert Fornatero.
We have more breaking sports news right after this short break. Don't go anywhere. Take them cue and open their mics.
Today marked the 1-year anniversary of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette strike.
Point Park University just hosted a campus-wide meeting.
Plans for the rapid transit bus line are not set to conclude until 2025.
Welcome back. Now with an update on Week 10, NFL reporter Gabe Ebersol has the latest. Gabe?
That's right, Layla. Week 9 in the past, the first half of the NFL season has flown by. A half that featured a lot of Colts winning and little Brock Bowers. But if last weekend was any indication, then the second half has some changes on the horizon. We begin out west, where Brock Bowers bounces back strong from injury that sidelined him all of October, a career day this past weekend for the standout sophomore tight end. Getting reacquainted with Geno before taking on the Jags at home, the duo sparks the flame in the second frame. Already with 3 catches in the quarter, find Bowers out alone on an island, and the Raider conquers. On Geno's right side, Brock uses the left hand only. His introductory score of the season goes on the highlight reel, puts the game's first points on the board. Fast forward, down 4 with 4 to go. Go to the mismatch. Bowers opens up the drive with back-to-back catches to help scale the length of the field. Then, for his 4th career 100-yard game, look at the fancy footwork, freeing himself over the middle on a beautiful route, then running it the rest of the way for the lead, going 27 yards on the score. But more in store. 60 minutes not enough for any separation on the board. Geno doesn't stray, keeps looking Brock's way for their 3rd connection of the day. Hat trick in his return could be the game winner. Going for the win with the 2, anticlimactic ending as Pete Carroll again opts for the air with the game on the line. Don't let it dampen Brock's display of excellence. Vegas has struck gold on the tight end. Transforming the Raiders' offense goes from single-game careers high in catches and touchdowns in this contest. Let's stay in the AFC, same conference. Steelers live up to the name. The city of 6 rings steals 6 takeaways off a historic Indy offense. Colts score 6 their opening drive, but foreshadowing on 4th down. Josh Downs' mistake on the punt puts the Steelers in close. Turnover number 1 on the day, but still in command. Knocking again early quarter 2, but watch that. It's TJ with the play, punching out and pouncing on the rock. It's Steelers football on the 44. Rodgers in the O use that momentum to tie. Colts' next drive also destined to die via turnover. Jones trying to dial up Josh Downs, no dice. Playmaking Peyton Wilson, first pick on the season. Steelers stretch the separation, going up 10 near the 3rd quarter's end. Indy in opposing territory, same result once again, going the other way. Peyton Wilson again conjures up the chaos, and the tip drill is picked off by rookie Jack Sawyer for the first of his pro career. Time running out, half the quarter left when Highsmith makes his pressure felt. Except Jones doesn't feel it, stripped again and recovered by the black and yellow. One last gasp with 3 minutes left. Load up another, Danny. Joey Porter Jr. is going home with a highlight as well. Fourth Pittsburgh player on the day to generate their first takeaway of the season. Steelers ride it out to stun the Colts at home. Credit the resurrected defense, forcing the Colts to hand over the ball more on the day than the rest of the season combined. Daniel Jones of the Giants coming out and coming up small in this one. Colts with cause for pause, still atop the AFC though. Week 10 kicks off with the two losers we just discussed. Bowers and the Raiders try to bounce back in the division against Bo's Broncos, 8:15 on Amazon. Colts take it international, taking on the Falcons in the capital of Deutschland. Now, to Megan Lukic for reporting on the shocking close of the MLB season. Megan?
You got it, Gabe. From backs against the wall to back. Those were the words from Los Angeles Dodgers commentator Steven Nelson as the Dodgers completed the comeback against the Toronto Blue Jays in extra innings of Game 7 to win their second straight World Series. Looking at the highlights, the Blue Jays took the lead in the bottom of the third with a 3-run homer from Bo Bichette, and the Dodgers would score runs in the top of the fourth and sixth innings to cut the deficit to 1. But the Blue Jays were able to get some breathing room and extend their lead to 4-2 in the bottom of the sixth inning. Max Muncy added a home run for the Dodgers in the top of the eighth, and Miguel Rojas hit the tying home run in the top of the ninth. Yoshinobu Yamamoto came onto the mound for the Dodgers in the bottom of the ninth after being the starting pitcher in Game 6 and throwing 96 pitches just a day earlier. The Blue Jays came inches away from the winning run, but this game would need extra innings. Finally, it was Will Smith in the top of the 11th with the home run that put the Dodgers ahead 5-4. A double play in the bottom of the 11th sealed the win and the championship for the Dodgers in an all-time classic ball game. Dodgers pitcher Yamamoto was named the World Series MVP. In addition to the 2 2/3 innings he pitched in Game 7, Yamamoto pitched 9 innings in Game 2 and 6 innings in Game 6 while only allowing 1 run in each of those games. The Dodgers became the first team to win back-to-back World Series since the Yankees did so in 1999 and 2000. And with Los Angeles hoisting the Commissioner's Trophy for the 3rd time this decade, they've officially solidified themselves as a dynasty. Now to Corinne Lamar making her sideline debut to report on an unlikely death that shocked the world. Corinne?
That's right. As paramedics rushed to the chaotic, gloomy, and thunderous scene in Queensland's Sunshine Coast, they saw locals desperately trying to bring life back to Finley Bone, a 21-year-old soccer coach. So full of life herself, Finley was a beautiful, kind young woman who excelled in many sports. Her life was taken away in a single, devastating moment, as her mother, Donna Markert, described. Just moments before, Finley and her partner were practicing goal kicks with no sign of looming thunder, disaster, or even a drop of rain. Markert finds some comfort knowing that in her final moments, Finley was doing what she loved with who she loved. Back to you at the desk, Layla.
And that's all for our national stories this week. Finally, we're debating the troubling state of the NBA. Stay tuned. Welcome back. With the NBA in full swing and the resigning NBA champs looking red hot, a lot of fans have thrown shade towards the current play style and watchability of the NBA. I am joined by Gabe, Ethan, Luke, and Adam to discuss this. So first I want to go down the line and ask, what do you think the NBA is unwatchable at this moment?
I would not describe the NBA as unwatchable. I think they're in a weird spot, like officiating-wise, especially with like what's a foul, what's not a foul. A lot of the different things. They implemented a new rule for traveling and gather steps this year, so they're in an experimental phase with a lot of that. As far as a certain team impacting that, which I'm sure we're going to get into, I don't believe it's because of a single team in the NBA now.
Yeah, for me, I think overall the NBA trajectory is going down at the current state. The finals last year, the average viewership was 10.2 million per game, 9% down from 2024, and also lowest since the 2007 finals. So for me, overall, the viewership and just like overall entertainment is going down.
Honestly, as a longtime NBA fan, I haven't been watching much NBA recently. And a lot of it's due to the officiating. I don't like the flow of the game at all. There's no like real flow. There's like foul after foul after foul. Anytime a player falls on the ground, they call the whistle. It's just not entertaining. It's just an acting competition at this point, and it's not enjoyable.
An acting competition is a bit crazy. I will say officiating has been questionable, but it's always questionable with the NBA. But in terms of teams' play styles, I think you can't say it's an acting job.
As far as I want to address first what you said about the viewership thing. I think that more falls into like this parity period we're seeing in NBA where a lot of different teams are making it. And when you have a team like Indiana and a team like Oklahoma City both in the finals, I mean, neither city has a population over 1 million people. Compared to a team like LA, a team with a fan base like the Celtics with the Knicks, I am not surprised you see these numbers going down, especially on an international scale where they're either tied to like a player, like when Tony Parker was on the Spurs. French people were always watching the Spurs in the finals. I mean, you don't have that, and then you don't have a big market on top of that. I think that's just kind of where the numbers are coming from. More than the result of the gameplay, I think that's at least playing a part in it.
Yeah, I would say looking at like the Nuggets and the Heat series, like there's still more viewership because even though they're two small market teams, I think the game was played at a better pace. And like the game wasn't being dictated by like officials and stuff. But like if you look at last year's finals, like you would watch the game and you would watch 25% of the game would be at the free throw line. And at one point it's like, this is just egregious.
So do you think that started in the finals or was this a playoff thing? Or
I think this started like beginning of last year and it carried into the playoffs. Because typically when you look at the playoffs versus the regular season, you see a lot of play like the officials letting the play go on.
Right.
But last year that wasn't the case.
I think a lot of people started to notice this because of the play of the Thunder. And the way Shea plays, I mean, there's like hundreds of pictures of him out there trying to flop.
Okay, so I'm going to start.
And he literally created a meme where just turned the Thunder game on and Shea's at the free throw.
You're talking about pictures, a screenshot of different things. That's like the whole point of it. You're talking about a team that finished 26th in free throws taken last year and blaming them for you not wanting to watch the game because it's spent at the free throw line.
But we are
you're talking about a team that spends objectively the least amount of time at the free throw line.
There's a higher percentage of Shea being at the free throw line than the Pelicans winning.
What's crazy is through 7 games this year, he's not even top 10 in foul shots per game this year.
Yeah, but he does lead the league.
That's true,
he is first in drives per game, and 80% of shooting fouls occur in the paint. But the guy who flops and needs fouls to score, who is always in the paint, living in the paint, shooting 61% from two-point range. That's blisteringly hot. One of the best of all time. He's also shot over 50%, scoring 30-plus a game the last 3 years.
If you watch the way he plays, he flops every time he takes a shot. He lands on the ground every time he takes a shot.
If that's the case, then he must be the worst flopper of all time to average the most drives, not lead the league in free throws, consistently.
But you can look at like Jokic. Like by the way, Shea he was second in league in most free throw attempts last year. And you look at like centers like Jokic, Embiid, and even Giannis who live in the paint, but they don't get the same call Shea gets. Like that can be frustrating.
Shea also drives to the paint 5 times more than any other.
Yeah, but Luka and Jalen Brunson live in the paint, and they don't get the same. They don't get the same free throw calls.
Luka does. Harden does. There's so many players I could point to. Zion has a higher one. Giannis has a higher free throw rate. There's so many people that go in the paint and they get calls more often than SGA does. And the funniest part to me is it only started getting scrutinized after the Thunder won. SGA shot the most free throw attempts per game. That is true. He shot the most free throw attempts per game in his career.
I didn't watch a single Thunder game in the playoffs because of that reason.
Well, he averaged the most free throw attempts per game 3 years ago in his career. He averaged north of 10. Last year, he barely shot 9 flat. So if the case is he's shooting too many free throws, why did no one have a problem with it when he was putting the same numbers and losing 3 years ago?
And this leads back to the NBA.
He led the league in foul shot attempts in 2023 when the Thunder were an 8th, 10th seed trying to make it into the playoffs. Nobody cared. They called him a rising
Well,
superstar.
now that the Thunder are actually good, they pay more attention to Shea, so they stopped calling him that. If he was on a bad team, he would get way more calls. That's why Giannis and Embiid get way more calls.
If he was on a bad
'Cause
team, he'd get way more calls?
Also, like, my frustration is, like,
So he
Jokic.
does or doesn't get
Because he has more
Jokic should've
publicity
won
now,
MVP
so now the
last
refs
year.
need to make
Star
sure they're
whistle
not
doesn't
calling
sound-
So that
people.
doesn't, bro. Jokic winning MVP, LeBron
He's a
would have 10
superstar
MVPs
whistler,
and went to the
bro.
No,
best.
but Jokic should have won last year, but the only reason he didn't because he doesn't get the same calls as Shea, which means Shea had more points than him last year.
That is not the reason
That
why he
is
did
the
not win
reason.
MVP. There's
That
no
is
way
that
that's
is
the reason
completely
why
the
he did not
reason.
win MVP.
Because Jokic was
It's
better
because
in
he's a
every
two-way-
stat except point.
He's a two-way. You're talking about
Jokic
two-way
is
player versus
arguably
a
the
player.
worst
Jokic is
defensive
a
center.
great defensive
He's
center.
a
He
great
blocks a
defensive
ton of
center.
shots.
Serious? What?
Jokic is a great rim
You could
protector.
argue he definitely
He
took
is
a
a
step
great rim
forward into
protector.
like above average last year.
I'm not saying he's
SGA is a
Giannis
top five to-
defensively, but
okay,
he's
but SGA
a good rim
is legitimately a
protector.
top 5 to 10 perimeter defender in the league. It gets overshadowed because OKC has 3 defenders who are better than him on the roster. Like he is a complete defensive player. He's a ball handler, a playmaker, a passer, a scorer. He's literally everything on the basketball court. If you want to say Jokic was your MVP, I don't disagree with that. But the reason SGA won the MVP is because the two-way play and the team success. That's just indisputable. Free throws are nothing.
Back to the NBA being unwatchable and the real topic. I think if they cut the season in half, the NBA would be way more entertaining. That's my main.
I mean,
take.
just want to entertain.
I think it'd be way more entertaining.
But
you could say that for every
I think it would
sport.
save the NBA. I
'cause it
think
just puts
right
more
now
weight
it's
on
going
Like
the
down.
hockey is 82 as well, and baseball's 162. If you cut that in half, you
But
say the same thing.
NBA's more physical.
Nothing hockey.
So I think I think it would be way more entertaining if there was less games. There's too many games.
you think that's the solution is to cut down to 41
Yes.
I don't know about that.
41
I do.
41
do.
games. I mean, it's really after the All-Star break is when...
But that takes away like sills. Like
Yeah,
people
after
pay to
the
go to these
All-Star break.
games. If you're cutting
I
off
know,
41
it's-
games,
So
how is
before the
NBA
All-Star
gonna
break, no one's watching.
So, in
Which is why
conclusion,
the viewership is down.
we agree that the NBA has to cut their season to.
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not.
That's what you believe. The
That's
NBA
what I
has to
believe.
cut
We
their
agree
season?
that we need to go
That's what
back
I
to the old
believe.
NBA days.
Why do you
of
think the
physical
NFL
play.
is so entertaining? Because there's
Is
one
Kobe
game
Bryant
a
a
week,
foul baiter?
17
Well,
games.
unfortunately,
That's
that
my-
is all the
that's a
time we
great
have
But
this
he
week.
also played in a
Kobe
really
Bryant-
physical
That will be all the
really
time we have
physical
this
era.
week. And be sure to join us next week at the same Pioneer time, the same Pioneer channel, and the same Pioneer sideline.